Good evening, everybody. I don't know why I have to push up my glasses every time I turn my phone on, but we have power out here. We have all the lights on we can see. The only problem is I wish we had a light outside because I'm working on digging the water line before it freezes like tomorrow, or it's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to freeze here shortly, and I think Wednesday we're having snow. As here's Monday night before Thanksgiving. We have power out here, but it's on. We have a propane line run most of the way. We've got more, and we've got 3 hydrants to bury. One outside here at the front of the greenhouse, one inside the greenhouse, and one on the outside of the back end of the greenhouse. I love these LED lights. It's bright in here. Definitely gonna have to buy some more for the other stuff. I could work out here almost. I think if I'd have one more light up here, it'd be handy. Let me get the camera turned around and I'll show you what we got going on in here and get the flashlight out and show you the water line. Here we are. We've got the power on. We've got the lights up. I think I'm going to see if we can't put another one right up here about the start of the beds. Because our plan is we are going to hang plastic up right at this rafter, and that way we make a smaller chamber to heat when it's cold to start stuff. And then we're going to come down here with double beds, and they're about 13-ish foot long, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take plastic to this rafter, and then that way it's still smaller, but when it gets nice out we'll get it going. But you can see pretty nice in here. I got to get these beds, or these tables, or we got 2 more of these tables to put up, the big ones. I've got to put these 3 on with that, and I think we're going to stand them up on edge instead of flat so it takes up less room. And I think we're going to try for this year to maybe grow in the dirt, but it kind of also depends on how much stuff we start, because if all else fails we'll bring some more cement blocks in and we'll just stack them all up. And what do I have? I have 3 left here, so I could do 1, 2, 3. I do have my other metal table, and that would get me at least to here in the middle, and I would probably have this side or that side, whichever I decide. I do have my big potting soil mix bag opened up and carried in as much as I could, but that will get moved up to that end. But we're trying to decide about spray foaming that end, so that's, if we spray foam it, I'll move it up afterwards. I'm not 100% sure what we're doing, but we got to insulate it somehow. But I would like to spray foam, but it might be out of the budget for trying to get everything else ready, because we got to start ordering stuff. And I have the hole dug here on the inside to the wall, so it's ready to go in. I'll get my handy dandy flashlight out so we can see out here now. I've got this hole dug. The water line, well, I guess if I get the flashlight on the other side, get the flashlight down in there, you can see. And then it comes up here. I got to dig this out. And then Dad trenched a line all the way down with it. Actually has the plastic in it. And our copper line is to there. I just got to flare it and run it in. Not too bad, but just enough that, well, and then also we've got our power line trenched in this way. And then he was nice while he had the trencher out. We'll get up here. I'll show you what else he did. Well, after he did that, he actually run a plug-in from this greenhouse all the way to the chicken coop. So now I've got a plug-in on it for plug-in waterers or anything else in that I need to keep them from freezing, or lights. We probably may end up with a light switch on the inside, hopefully, just because it'd be handy sometimes, like when I'm doing chores at this time of night. But that's kind of what we got going on. This thing lights up pretty. I'll take my phone off or my flashlight down so I can see, but get around that wagon. That thing just lights up like crazy, doesn't it? It actually kind of makes it cool out here. It's got some good, but oh well. But there, put a hydrant down at that end. We're gonna put one outside here by the fan, and then one on the inside. So, and then I got to dig the line from here over. Here's our 3/4 inch line that's running there, and there's my 2 chunks I'm going to use for my inch, because this chunk here is inch. And I'm probably going to more than likely use this more than that one. So I'm going to run all of this as inch line, and that one will be 3/4. But it's getting chilly out here. I got to get this finished up so I can get my gloves back on. But just thought I'd show you a good update. It does just look like daylight in here. I do think I need one more light on this end, would make me happy. It is just dark up here. Well, maybe if I shut the door it might. I don't think it will. Well, it kind of does. But I think instead of there, it should have been about here. But that's where they had it when we took it down. So, but it won't be that big of a deal to get another box and a light and a fixture, and we'll just cut the wire and hook it back together and be done with it. And then we can see really good in this front chunk. We got the heater hung. We got to run the propane line in and the exhaust out in the water. And then we got to decide how we're going to insulate this north wall. And it is done, except for our fine tuning. And then I saved this spot up here for my dirt and maybe a small table. This little rolly cart is going to be handy. But with the heater, I couldn't start too far up. And so I decided to run it just straight across. And that way it gives me a little work area up here where it's heated. And we got our fans. We may have to move them around just a hair. And Dad decided to put doubles here. I'm going to put 2 plug-ins in this box. And then he's going to take that single box out and put the double, which he has right there. And then that way when we do our heat mats and stuff here, we don't have to run extension cords, because we'll probably probably start stuff on that side. I don't actually know. I don't know what I'm doing yet. But we'll run heat mats. We might go grab a chunk of cheap styrofoam, throw down on there. And that way it'll insulate a little better and push the heat up instead of down. Be a little bit more efficient. And that way maybe that'll be my germinating table, and then I can use these 2 to grow in. I don't know. We still got lots of time. I got the hiccups now. So I must be done for the night. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Okay, now you can actually see what I was working on. It'll show up a little better. I'm out here and I'm cheating. I put up one of our canopies so we don't get wet. I had to get a few different plumbing fittings and a few more because we added an extra hydrant here that we were planning on. I've got this line dug, and this is my propane line, which is buried to about there, and I gotta put a union in and flare it again and get that other rest put in. But I've got this dug. I've got this line part way buried all the way. I've actually got it to turn into this patch, which I actually still have long. That's why it's still on, because I wasn't 100% sure where I needed to cut it, so I figured leave it long. So more or less I need to dig from about there in, because I already have it, or to the building wall, because I already have it done on the inside. Then I can get my water line. We're going to put a hydrant out here, one inside and then one at that end, so I'm putting 3 different hydrants in. And then we've got our copper line here. I just got to finish it in, and we'll go inside where you can see it a little better. And all my plumbing fittings, this is where it drives you crazy, but if you stop and think and draw a map, which I did on my paper, it gets it done. And it's so much nicer in here, so that's why I've been fitting everything in here. I've got the pipe dope, I've got a T. This will be the one outside because it'll T 1, 2, 3 hydrants. This is all of our copper fittings and the hose clamps for the hydrants. I've already got the ends on both of these. The other T that I need to run, and it was weird, so I had to do this because it's got inch pipe going one way and 3/4 going the other way, so I got it. And the pipe thread, I've got my rubber hose that I'm going to make work for my furnace. I got it a T for a clean out, and I grabbed 6" instead of 8. I was guessing. I was wrong. So I gotta take that back and get a cap. Here's the rest of our copper. I just gotta flare the end on and get it run in. But I've decided I want to try to get at least the inside hydrant done first, because we're going to bury the copper on the inside. We're going to run it through that same hole. And so all this dirt needs dug out so I can bury the copper here. Well, if I fill that hydrant in, or put the hydrant in, I can just put the dirt back in the hole instead of having to move it again. So that makes it a whole lot easier for me. And then we're going to run it probably to here and run it up probably that board or so I have somewhere nice to hook it to. I might even put out here on the plywood, I don't know. And then we'll run it, because this, which is to keep my dirt off, it's just got the flare fitting. So that'll make that screw on really nice. I just got to splice the other end on that, which is what I used to do before I did this, like forever ago. I installed propane lines and furnaces and hot water heaters and all of that jack. So I've got a little bit of experience with it, so it doesn't bother me. Plumbing's not so bad. It's just making sure you got the right fittings. You see, I've already got the hole dug here to the wall, so all I got to do is dig from here to that little bit out, and I can shove this hydrant in the next one and put a piece of pipe between them, which is easy enough to do, and then shove. I can get the rest of that out there done and then get this done. But there you go, little update in the light. I'll see you guys later. All right, we'll update everything again. It's a little bit, or it's getting dark. We got this water line buried. I've got the hydrant sticking up down there just in front of the wagon. You can kind of almost see it. We got this water line buried, the jumper across, the big hole mostly buried. I do got to move a little bit more dirt, but it was getting crappy and snowing. I was really glad to have the canopy up. I got to get that down. We did get the brass, or the copper, shoved in the building, and we've got most of the gas line pretty well buried. I've got to go through. The kids were doing it in the dark with a flashlight, so I'll give them credit, and it's just copper, so it's not like it really matters that much. We'll get it backfilled. And it's over to the building. I still got to attach it to the existing line, which is easy enough to do. I just got to take it apart. But there you go. We're 2 connections away from having propane run in there. That way we can get it all done. It'll be awesome to have heat in there. Not that we really need it now, but we want to double check and run the heater before we need it. But we've got the hydrant inside, the hydrant out here, and the far one buried. All the water lines look pretty good. We should be good. We didn't have any leaks. But there we go. You guys have a nice one. Thanks for watching. Make sure if you like what I'm doing, leave a comment down there if there's something you want to see or interested in, and give me some ideas for what stuff I should start in here. I know we're going to try to do a few flowers and some vegetables for us, but I might try to throw some out there for sale too. Just something else to do. Talk to you guys later. Have a good evening.